Hello and welcome. It's Saturday, the 20th of June, on day 10 of World Cup 2026. I'm Lee Anthony Davis, and it's time for my World Cup 26 YouTube channel. Right, coming up, we've got World Cup final score, sports reports, group tables, look at tomorrow's matches, the contenders section, the quiz questions section, goal of the day, match of the day, and of course news and weather to finish with. So let's start off with the World Cup final score. We start with yesterday's late kickoff that went out at 4 a.m. in the morning, and I only gave the latest score, but here is the full result. Group D, Turkey 0, Paraguay 1. Right, now moving on to today's matches. Group E, Germany 2, Ivory Coast 1, Ecuador 0, Curacao 0. And Group F, Holland 5, Sweden 1, and Tunisia 0, Japan 4. Right, now it's time for sports report, including that late result yesterday, starting with with a vital game in Group D between Turkey, semi-finalists here back in 2002, and the South American side Paraguay, knowing a defeat here today will send one of them home in front of a capacity crowd of 68,000 at the Santa Clara Stadium. And it was Paraguay who got off to a sensational start with the quickest goal scored yet in a World Cup by Paraguayan Matthias Galazar in 64 seconds, with a strike outside the D area that beat the Turkish goalkeeper to go 1-0 up. Turkey had plenty of chances but could not convert them, and so Paraguay stay in the World Cup, and sadly Turkey exit the World Cup. And Miguel Miguel Alimo Almiron got there eventually. Almiron was sent off. Paraguay will miss the next match for Paraguay because he got sent off. In fact, he did this in front of the referee or something. It was some silly thing, and the referee sent him off for it. I mean, that was a joke. Anyway, so he won't be playing in the final game, but it makes no difference anyway. So moving on to Germany versus Ivory Coast. Right, this is Group E, where Germany knew a win would qualify them outright for a place in the last 32 knockout stage. But in the 30th minute, Captain Frank Kessie pounced on a cross from Von Mandey to put the ball in the net to give Ivory Coast a 1-0 shock lead at half-time, which rattled the Germans. Then, going into the second half, and the Germans were becoming frustrated with Kai Havertz missing an open goal. Then suddenly from a chip into the Ivory Coast goal area, and there was Dennis Undav to shoot it into the top corner of the net on the 68th minute to make it 1-1. And in injury time, when Ivory Coast thought they did enough, until the 94th minute, when the ball was whipped into the Ivory Coast box and it fell to the feet of Dennis Undav and shot past the Ivory keeper, and to get his second and Germans' dramatic winner and a place in the last 32. Right, moving on, and so to the other game in Group E between Ecuador and Curacao, who were both looking for their first win, as Ecuador slight favourites in this match, but the only highlights in this match was the saves from Curacao goalkeeper Eloy Room, who kept out Ecuador to earn a point in their World Cup debut, but it was Room was the hero of the match. Right, it's time to look at Group F quickly, and Holland against Sweden, but it was the dominance of the Dutch that was too strong for Sweden, with goals coming from Brian Broby, who scored twice in the 5th and 17th minute, and then Cody Gakpo got in on the act, scoring 2 himself in the 47th and 54th minute. And then finally, Crescencio Somerville added a 5th in the 89th minute, and a consolation goal coming from Sweden's Anthony Elanga in the 59th minute, where Holland ran out 5-1 winners and go top of Group F. And so to the final report from the other match in Group F between Japan and Tunisia. But it was Japan all the way, as Tunisia failed to deal with Japan's attack, and it was Daichi Kamada scored as early in the 4th minute, and then a Yalisi this is a very hard name to pronounce. I'll say it again. A Yatsi Ueda, that's it, Ueda. Sorry. Yatsi Ueda bagged 2 more goals, 31 minutes and 83 minutes, and Jonya Ito made it 4-0, and to put the final nail in the coffin of Tunisia's World Cup dreams, and puts Japan above Sweden with all to play for in the final game against Sweden. Right, now looking at the group tables, we start off with Group D, where we saw Turkey go out of the World Cup. United States are top of the group with 6 points. They've all played 2, and they've got a better goal difference on 5. They've lost none, drawn none, won 2. Australia are in best position to qualify with them, as they have a better goal difference, even though they don't have any goals. But the other teams, Paraguay, are on -2, and Turkey already out with -3 with no points. Paraguay are on level square with with Australia, but they have to score 3 goals, and Australia has to either lose 3-0 or Paraguay wins 3-0 and Australia lose 1-0. So it's all to play for in the final game. So commiserations to Turkey anyway in that group. Right, now looking at Group E, and Germany look formidable as they go for the whole 3 points in the next game, and be the undoubtedly winners of Group E. They haven't lost a game yet. They're going for the 100% record, and to be honest with you, I can't see them not getting it. Germany are currently 6 points with an incredible 7+ goal difference. They haven't lost, and they certainly haven't drawn, and they've won all their games so far. And Ivory Coast could join them because they're in a better position than the other 2. They're on 3 points, and they're on a 0 goal difference. But Ecuador, who's 2 points behind them, are on -1 goal. And obviously, Curacao did I say Ecuador? Sorry. Curacao are on -6 goal difference on the same points. I suppose in a way it is possible, but Ivory Coast will have to lose for one of them 2 teams to move into 2nd place. So Germany first, Ivory Coast 2nd, Ecuador 3rd, and Curacao at the bottom. Right, moving on to Group F, we've got Holland leading the way with their emphatic 5-1 win against Sweden. That puts them top of the group with Japan, who also had a good win against Tunisia, 4-0. Sweden are 3rd, so they've been pushed down to 3rd place when Japan and Holland won. And Tunisia, I'm afraid, are eliminated from the tournament. So bad luck to them. Their record so far haven't won a game, haven't drawn a game, but lost 2, and they've got a -8 goal difference. So there you are. Right, so that's the groups. Right, looking at tomorrow's matches, in Group G, we've got playing in Los Angeles, America, Belgium and Iran will be playing at 8 o'clock, ITV1. That's where you can watch the match. Then on Group H, we've got another match in America, Atlanta Stadium, between Spain and Saudi Arabia. An interesting match to see who wants the 3 points desperately. I would say Spain really want them desperately to stay a chance of qualifying. So far they slipped up against Cape Verde, but never mind. It should be an interesting match. You can see that game live on BBC One at 5 p.m. Right, moving on to same group. This one is played later on at 11 p.m. This is where Uruguay take on Cape Verde. Cape Verde have been a surprise package, especially when it's their first attempt, and they managed to get they managed to hold Spain. Would you believe? Amazing stuff. They'll be playing Uruguay, and the Uruguay are looking to get a win to qualify themselves for the World Cup last 32. It's all to play for, so today's match is very important, and if they can beat Cape Verde, they will be probably in a good position rather than Spain. So anyway, you can see that match live on BBC One at 11 p.m. And then we've got the final game coming up in Group G. We've got Vancouver Stadium in Canada, where New Zealand take on Egypt. New Zealand did a fantastic result when they got a 1-1 draw, which is the first time they've ever actually got a point in the World Cup, so it was a fantastic thing for them. Egypt, I think, propping up the table, and they really want the 3 points, otherwise they could be going home after that match tomorrow. That match is live on ITV at 2 a.m. in the morning. Right, now for the contender section. We start off with the top 3 quickest goals scored in the World Cup. And the first is Matthias Galaza with 1 minute 4 seconds for Paraguay. Second place is Ismail Salabari, 1 minute 10 seconds for Morocco. And third place is Diachi Kamada on 4 minutes for Japan. Right, so moving on to the longest time it's taken to score in a World Cup, and that honour goes to Marko Anatovic, 102nd minute goal for Austria. Right, moving on. The top 6 Golden Boot contenders are as follows. Lionel Messi, but he's been joined by 3 more players on 3 goals, including Carl Larin of Canada, Dennis Onde, who scored 2 today against Costa Rica for Germany. He's on 3 goals now, and he's currently joint first place. And also joint first place is Jonathan David, who bagged that hat-trick in that dramatic Canada win when they won 6-0 against Qatar. And he's joined that illustrious circle of the most goals scored. He's a Canadian, so they've got 2 Canadians in that top 4 there. Meanwhile, the top players underneath them in second place is Johan Menzepi of Switzerland with 2 goals, and Harry Kane also second place with 2 goals for England. But that could all change tomorrow. Right, so we move on to the top 6 teams to score the most goals in a group. And we've got them here. First place is Germany, 7-1 against Curacao, and I'll say that will be a hard task to follow. I don't see anyone getting more than that, because I don't think it gets any easier when you get to the knockout stage. And even in the last games of the group, I don't see that happening either, because it'll be very tight. Second is Canada. They won 6-0 against Qatar. Third place, Holland, who scored 5 goals against Sweden, 5-1. And third place was Sweden, who beat Tunisia 5-1. And fourth place goes to the United States with 4-1 against Paraguay. And finally, a new team joining Sweden, America at the top. Fourth place was America, beating Paraguay 4-1 in fourth place, and Japan joins them with a 4-0 win against Tunisia. So we'll have, I'm sure that will change as well as we go along. Right, now finally, well, not quite finally, the top 6 teams that scored the most World Cup goals. That's for the group. This is for the most in the whole tournament so far. And leading the way, if surprise, surprise, if you didn't know already, Germany, they have 9 goals. Second place is Canada, along with Holland with 7. Third place is Japan, with Sweden on 6. And finally, Switzerland is the new team joining the top 6 with 5 goals. Right, let's have a look at the top 3 teams conceded more goals. Well, it happens to be Tunisia now. They're top of the group, which is not an illustrious group I want to be in, but they've conceded 9 goals. Qatar conceded 7 goals, including that 6 they let in against Canada. And finally, Curacao, who I thought would be the worst team, are probably surprised everybody with that draw, and they've only conceded, amazingly, 6 goals in their first ever World Cup. That's amazing. They weren't expected to do well. They were expected to be the whipping boys of that group, but they held their own. Apart from the one against Germany, of course. Anyway, let's move on to the quiz question section. Who was the first player to score in a World Cup final? And the answer was Pablo Dorado of Uruguay. In the 12th minute against Argentina, they won 4-2. But he was the very first player to score in a World Cup final. Right, I've got another quiz question for you. Here, what was the score in the 1974 World Cup final? If you thought that was easy, think again. I want to know who scored them. Right, you'll get the answer tomorrow. Right, now for goal of the day, my choice for goal of the day goes to Crescencio Somerville for the final goal he scored for Holland in a fantastic precision shot, which I thought was one of the best goals out of the Holland match. Out of the 5 goals, that has to be the best, and I couldn't find a better goal than that. It's the way he took the ball and then confidently drilled it in the corner. Right, so that's my goal of the day choice. Match of the day choice is Germany versus Ivory Coast, which had a shock half-time lead followed by a dramatic comeback, with the last-minute goal coming in injury time, of course. Right, so let's have some news and weather before we leave. The news: Prime Minister Starmer's future looks uncertain as his cabinet is split whether to back him. And US and Iran begin talks in Switzerland. And in other sports, Holland gives Sweden Dutch masterclass in their 5-1 win. And another casualty: Holger Rune, former world number 4, has withdrawn from the Wimbledon Championships. Right, now for the weather. Today it's going to stay very sunny, but tonight it's going to be warm and muggy. That's a nice little rhyme. So enjoy the summer weather today. You never know. It might be the same again tomorrow. I'm hoping so. I like this sort of Caribbean weather in this country. It makes things so worthwhile, doesn't it? To know that you can get up and it's a lovely day. Right, that's it from me. I'll be back later on with another World Cup 26 YouTube channel. Don't forget, I'll be back with Lee's Hobby Corner every Sunday, including today, when I'll be showing my collection of crystals. Yes, you heard me. And then I will be back tomorrow as well. So I'm here with the my World Cup 2026 YouTube channel every day. Don't forget, I'll be posting on my community post board every day as well, so watch out for any relevant details that might interest you. So until then, it's goodbye from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.